Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Edward Giles, aka the Holistic Motivator. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to get into the flow state. And what does that mean? How can that change your life? What if you never had to work a day in your life? When you're sitting down, you ain't thinking about much. You can just be fully blissed, majority of the time, doing anything that you enjoy to do, right? So a lot of people never experience this state. But if you know about it, then you can quiet down so you can experience it, and then you're gonna want more of that. So the flow state, in my definition, is a state where time and space no longer exist, where you're not really even thinking about the time. You're not even conscious. Well, you're not even the location you are in space doesn't really matter because you feel like you became the space, and it's so amazing, right? And it's a state where anxiety doesn't stay, fear can't linger, worry no longer hits you up in the head making up a story because you're in the flow state. What if you can be in that state almost all day, every day? What if you can experience that? Okay? So that's what I'm going to be talking about. That's called growth. What's up, Sam? Welcome to the live. So this flow state is how do you get in it? Well, I need to, it's hard for me to say this author's name, so I'm not going to butcher it till I find out how to say it. But he wrote the book Flow. And he talked about the flow state and how people in all different works are able to experience this flow state, because they have a specific intention and focus with a goal attached to it. And then as they do it, their skill and expertise and the way that they enjoy doing the work, or the funny games that they play with in their minds while doing the work, he found out that these people who have these jobs working in assembly lines will get in a flow state because their mind will be so focused on the one task, and then they'll develop games that they're playing as they do these different activities. So as they develop the games that they're playing, as they do the activities constantly and then focusing on that activity, people at work started to experience a flow state. So you can start to see, like, let's say we watch a very amusing video on the internet about cutting potatoes, and you see how easily this guy can cut these potatoes very effortlessly without chopping off his fingers. And in your mind, you're wondering, how is he able to do that, right? How is he able to do that almost without even seeing anything, without even, like, it just goes by so fast. So all of these people are experiencing all of these flow states because what their brain has now memorized the action. They became the action. Their brain not only memorized the action, but as they do the action, there was no difference between if they were doing it or the action were doing them. Okay? So what does that have to do with you? What if whatever you do constantly every day, you can be in a flow state where you lose track of time and you just gain this the satisfying feeling that the present moment brings. Losing track of time and enjoying the satisfying feeling that being in the flow brings. Okay, talking about this to somebody who's never experienced this is like trying to intellectualize something that you haven't experienced, and it's going to be very difficult for me to do so. So before I begin, think about a moment in your life, okay? Think about a moment in your life where you were doing something, and then all of a sudden you didn't even realize that you were doing this thing. Okay, you were doing something and you didn't even realize that you were doing it because you got lost in it. All right? If you can remember that moment, comment that below. If you could just think it in your mind, that's good as well. Okay? So a moment where you were doing something and you almost lost track of time. You lost track of time because it was just, you was all the way into it. Okay? So we all have a time when we lost ourselves. We could be playing with our kids. right? We're playing with a baby, and all of a sudden, time. It's like we look at the watch, and like three hours pass by, and you're like, how did this happen? Well, you got into the flow state, right? Or maybe you could have gotten in and out that flow state within the 3 hours. And or some people can also be thinking all the whole time, which then means you wasn't in it. It just means maybe you wasn't paying attention to the time. So what I just said is when time doesn't become, when time no longer exists, you are getting in the flow state. So you can be sitting in silence to get in the flow state where time doesn't even exist, where you just like, oh, 30 minutes, what happened? So you may be wondering, why does time doesn't exist? Well, what is the gland in your mind that gets you your sense of time? What gland in your mind that, the pineal gland. The pineal gland, which is like the back of the third eye, works with the pituitary. So the pineal gives you the sense of time. And your pineal, what does it secrete? The melatonin to help you sleep. So the pineal gland also has a light awareness. So it can tell between when the sun is up and when the sun is down. That's what dictates also our body clock. So based on that pineal gland, our body clock is letting us know a sense of time and space. So guess what is activated when you're in the flow state? Guess what state you're getting into? The pineal gland. So that pineal gland is working a lot. Now, is it working less or working more? That's a question to really think about, but let's not get into that. So the pineal gland is, how do the pineal gland cause you to lose a sense of time? The silence. What happens when you slow down your heart rate? What happens to your brain waves? Your brain waves also slow down. So heart rate, brain waves, and then what happens is you're getting from a conscious state slowly down from alpha to beta, and maybe some of us even get to the theta state just by breathing and quieting down our minds. So now our pineal gland thinks that we're falling asleep. So our pineal gland says, is this person going to sleep? So it starts to secrete different molecules. And then these molecules get you in a flow state where you lose sense of time, like you're in a dream, like you're sleeping, right? Remember, pineal gland lets you know light or dark, whether you're awake or asleep. So now slowly you start to dream into the flow state. So what is the number one way to get into the flow state? You have to slow down your brain waves. Slow down your heart rate. You have to slow down. So the goal, the way to get into the flow state, number one, is slowing down. Well, what I've been teaching all week for the last month about slowing down. It has to do with your breath. So I've been talking about deep diaphragm breathing. And today I'm going to share with you another breath technique, which is the snake breathing, where you breathe in through your nose and out your mouth, doing the sound. So you're gonna breathe in through your nose, out your mouth, squeezing your, almost like you're trying to blow out a candle, and you're gonna make the S sound. Now another one is you can also push up. We're not gonna get into that, but just breathe in through your nose, out your mouth. You see that? By doing that, that's healing. That also slows down your brain waves, helps you get into the flow state. Now you might say, hey, does darkness and light have anything to do with the flow state? darkness and light have anything to the flow state, and is working in the light better than working in the dark? And how does that have to do with anything? Well, here's the thing. I can tell you that the flow state also has to do with you going outside. Why is that? The earth gives off has something called the post electromagnetic field, which means technically the ground has a heartbeat. The ground beat. So when you go grounding, there's a heartbeat of the earth. Now, on the bottom of your foot, there's a point, a hollow called bubbling springs. The Chinese call it bubbling springs, which means that there's a connection between the bottom of the foot and then the earth. So grounding is when you step outside, the post electromagnetic field of the earth sinks in with the bubbling springs, which then actually lowers down your brain waves, slows them down. Like if you're high blood pressure, then now you're like 5% less. That's what they discovered. So you're like, wow. So stepping outside barefoot literally helps me start this flow process. Exactly. So grounding, super important. Slowing down your heart rate is the #1 way. So you may be like, how can I do that? How do I slow down my heart rate when I'm doing stuff? Well, remember what I told you about the story of the workers who work in an assembly line, yet they're still able to get in the flow state? So being in the flow state doesn't even have to do with like doing something super amazing or something super creative. It can be the works that you do, but it's adding the play component to the work that also gets you in a flow state. Not every worker who worked on an assembly line experienced a flow state. Some of them experienced dread. Some of them hated it. Some of them were still going in that same rhythm, but they were thinking about a bunch of other stuff, and they were flowing, but they weren't flowing fully because their minds was out of it. So some of the people who are working gets in the flow state, but others don't. What's the difference? Well, it's the mentality. Some of them, they play games with their work. They turn their work into a game, which makes it more fun, which gets you in the spirit of play, which also gets you in the spirit of flow. When you play, you also lose track of time. So this whole week, I've been sharing with you a lot of secrets to wellness that are not secrets. But it's about taking them and really thinking about them. Okay, so the flow state has to do with playing a game with your work and also learning how to focus on the task at hand. I said, if you focus on this, my cup, enough and look at it very intricately and breathe, you can meditate on the cup. You can meditate on the field of dreams. So that means that if you focus on anything you're doing enough, even like making your website, you can start flowing while making a website. Making the website can become an art where every component you can be in the flow state, but your breath then has to be consciously happening, right? So I want you to practice conscious breathing while you work. Conscious breathing while you work. And once again, I got to remind you that everything I'm telling you, whatever book you're going to read about mindfulness, they're going to be in there. Right? So I'm a whole book right now. I'm a whole book pretty much, okay? So conscious working. You're working, breathe, and then do it. Now, how can typing become meditative? Well, if you're just typing alone, you can find it relaxing in typing. Even when you're drifting into the thought world, and then you're downloading stuff and you're writing that book, you can get in the flow state. That flow state is when you start to automatic words come before you finish the last word. You can be in the flow state during a live video where words come before you even finish your last thought. And you're like, where did this come from? Well, you just tapped to the infinite source. So flowing is about continuing the wisdom of God. Okay, that's deep. Continuing. So Les Brown said this beautiful quote. He said that most of us, what we do is we stop the flow of life. And I love when he said that. He said that God is trying to flow through us, but we're not sharing ourselves out here, so we're stopping the flow. So the thing is, there's all of these energies that's supposed to come out through you, but you're like, I don't know. Am I good enough? What do they think about me? Do they think I'm weird? I mean, I got over that, right? I don't care. You think I'm weird? Great. It means that I'm actually being myself. So what we do is we let our limitations hinder us from flowing the true wisdom of God. Now, some people may say, hey, I don't know if what you're saying is the wisdom of God. Well, let me tell you something. The guy who came with the light bulb, did he come up with the light bulb? And you know who I'm talking about, Edison. Did he come up with the light bulb, or did God inspire a bunch of other mental batteries that got plugged together and after multiple failures came up with the light bulb together, a collective of minds that connected to the source? Edison himself says that his success has to do with his dreams. That when he woke up, he would write down all the things in his dreams. Where do you go when you go to sleep? You go to God, and then God whispers these dreams in your ears, and you wake up in the morning, and you're like, new idea. And some people wake up with a new idea, they don't act on it. But God just gave you an idea. God answered your prayers in the form of an idea, and yet you're not using it. And you're like, God, please change me. Please change. God says, here's the ideas I gave to you. And you're like, what am I doing with them? But you say, limitations, limitations, I'm not good enough. I come here to help break those down, those limiting thoughts, because it's not true. You are good enough. You are the vessel that is supposed to continue the light, right? I got in touch with that. That's why I do the work. I've been doing this almost every day since March, and I'm going to keep doing it. Because what I realize is I do not want to stop. I don't want to block the flow. So when you don't share yourself, you're blocking the flow because you're scared of losing yourself. You're scared of losing who you were. You're scared of losing the old personality. You're scared of losing your friends. You're scared of losing this status because, hey, if I fail, then I might lose my status. Right? Think about how much people can be sharing their true selves out here, but they're not willing to go broke to get rich. How many people out here can literally quit their job and do what they really want to do, but they're not willing to go broke to get mentally rich, to get fulfilled? I'm willing to do that. Shoot, I'm willing to do it so much that now I said I paid my dues. I paid my broke dues. Wellness is abundant. Wellness is upon me now. Wealth is upon me. I paid my broke dues. So we have to be willing to go broke to get rich. And then when we go broke, now we've gotten mentally rich, we can't settle for being broke anymore. Right? I'm not settling for being broke anymore. Let's say that 5 times. I'm not settling to be broke anymore. 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 Because I am abundance. I am wealth. The words in my mouth is wealth. A 30-minute talk right now can make me 10 grand. So I'm abundance. You see that? So somebody asks, how can you shift your flow? How can you shift your flow? So when we think about the concept of flow, we think about the concept of losing ourselves to light. But do we ever think about the concept of losing ourselves to darkness? Because flow is not just positive, flow can also be negative. There are evil and good forces, which means you can be flowing off of the dark energy. You can be flowing off of a mindset that's leading you to a wrong path. You've lost yourself in darkness, just as you can lose yourself in light. So when we understand the duality of life, it gives us a chance to step back and question things. So your question is, can you shift your flow? Well, I want you to say, while I'm flowing, am I getting in touch and able to see more than I've seen? Or am I flowing with tunnel vision and I'm only seeing the dark walls? So what I mean by that is, you might be living on your life what Napoleon calls in his book, drifting. Drifting means that you're not necessarily directing your life, Your life is simply being guided by the wind. It's almost like you're being shaken up to this side, over to this way, and over back that way. That is the drift. That's what Napoleon calls in his book, something about I forgot, the devil. He talks about his drifting, that most people are drifters in life, which means they wake up every day, they're doing certain things, but there's no destination, there's no vision, and there's no goal. So, and we can be flowing wrong. We can be mindlessly doing something that's leading us to a result that we don't want. Outwitting the devil. That's the book title. So, how do we flow right? So, a question I asked myself the other day is the life I'm living the construct of my own intention and the product of my own desires? Okay, I really want you to ask this question, because you can get at a point where you're living out other people's dreams and you had no idea. But it sounded like the best thing at the time, and you were decided that I'm going to invest my next 30 years into this dream. I'm going to invest 30 years into this dream, but you were sold somebody else's dream, right? And you could have been working on what is best to come from you to the world, but you were living out somebody else's dream. So question out your current flow. Am I living the life that is possible for me, the life that I'm consciously creating, or am I living the life that was set for me, that my parents expected of me, that this person suggested and it was the best opportunity at the time? Am I living my life this way? And no matter where you're at, if you can ask yourself that question, then you know that, hey, now you can step outside the matrix. That book is a timeless book, Outwitting the Devil. I recommend y'all read this book, especially for those who are looking to empower people out here. You're gonna think that what you have is not good enough sometimes. You're gonna have what Napoleon really discussed, which is the imposter syndrome, which is the negative thoughts breaking you down in your mind, making you feel like you're worthless, you're nobody, you're nothing. Okay? So y'all, as you hear some of the things I'm saying here today, you know that it's valuable. So what if I told you at some point in my life, I looked in the mirror and I saw myself and I said, hey, is what I say credible because I don't have the money I want in my life? And I would think to myself, hey, I must not be valuable because obviously people ain't booking me. I must not be valuable because obviously people ain't trying to do the qigong. I must not be valuable because ain't nobody buying my stuff. Now, did it mean that I'm not valuable because they're not buying? Or did it mean that there's a time for your worth to be recognized, and that's called marketing? The time between when you realize your worth, you embrace your worth, and for it to be recognized is pretty much marketing. That's it. The time that's it. So there's not something wrong with you. It's just that, hey, you need to market some more. You need to put yourself out here. People need to learn about who's the holistic motivator. It's not that you're not good enough. It's just that they don't know you yet. Right? So some of you are good enough. You are growing. But the thing is, they just don't know you yet. So let's get back into the flow state. I went on this because I don't know, that's where I was being guided today. Well, the flow state, you need to have intention, minimize the distractions, and have a goal for what it is that you're doing. Okay? The best way I found to get into the flow state is with qigong. Okay, the best way I found to get into this flow state was with qigong, because it activates everything I told you about as it relates to the pineal gland, the slowing down of your heart rate, the focusing on your breath, the focusing on the movement, and that whole timeless space thing I've been telling you is why qigong is life changing. It combines it all into a specific thing that you can do, and you're going to experience the flow state, not just while doing the qigong, but even when you go off and do any other activity. You're going to take the flow into the activity that you're doing, right? So I'm out here, I learned something 4,000 years old, And I'm sure that it's like 1 in 10,000 people that teaches this stuff, because it's not like yoga where you can find a yoga instructor. And now you're able to find a Qigong instructor that you can relate to, also that's young like you, that can change your life. And I want to let you know about it. Pretty much I've been sharing this stuff to you because what I realize now is, hey, all of this stuff, Qigong helped me tremendously to be able to get in the flow state where I can download information as well and communicate differently with more peace. There's so many different things about my life that changed. I can say that my third eye is definitely open, right? I can say that definitely, like, the thing that was calcifying different parts, the thing that was toxic, the Qigong helped me drain out. Qigong also helps you clear out your lymph. They found out the lymphatic system goes all the way up into the brain, right? This is what drains out toxins. And if you're getting toxins in your brain, then guess what happens? You can't think straight. So some of you, the thing is, you're not doing better because your mind is clouded. Your body is now inflamed. So I can show you how to reduce that inflammation, reduce that clog in your mind by just doing some breathing and moving exercises and a couple of nutritional changes. It's so easy, but it just takes dedication to the easy of it, okay? So I'm inviting y'all to sign up for the class this weekend. I actually have a transparent goal this week. I haven't been promoting the class at all. So besides the people who are in the 4 Weeks of Peace program, I didn't have much people sign up. So I want to share the gift of Qigong with you. So I'm inviting you to go to tryqigong.com and sign up for the class. So to be on a completely transparent, I'm super excited about the class. I want to share it with as many people as I can. I see it like changing people's lives, literally. I see my class, it already has started changing lives, but I see it changing thousands of lives. So I want to invite y'all to really go and sign up for tomorrow's class because it's going to be completely awesome. I'm going to share with you where the emotions get stagnated. So you're like, what does that mean? Where does the emotions get stuck? What emotions get stuck in the shoulder? What emotions get stuck in your back? What emotions get stuck in your chest? What emotions get stuck in your throat? I'm going to share with you not only how those emotions are affecting your health, but how to actually do something to stretch out those emotions, massage those emotions, and breathe out those emotions. I'm going to also tell you about the breathing, the sounds like the tss and the ah, and how these work for different organs. The class is going to be at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday Eastern Time and 11 a.m. on Sunday. So you can sign up for either or class by going to tryqigong.com. This class is super amazing. I have people doing it constantly every week for 4 weeks. I've been giving them out amazing value. Some of the stuff that I actually give out is people charge hundreds of dollars for them. But I'm at a mission orientation stage where I know this can change people's lives, and I'm be like, hey, I know a secret I want to share with you. And then somebody's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I don't have time for that. Let me just keep sharing. So that's why I'm sharing with you the secret, okay? So you're like, okay, I get it, dude. But what can I do to get into the flow state? Somebody's still going to ask me, I don't want to do your class. What can I do to get into the flow state? Okay. I've just shared everything with you that I can possibly share. Find something to focus on it well. Focus only on that thing, focus on the breath. Now that you focus on the breath, focus only on that thing that you're focusing on the breath. As thoughts come into your mind, allow the thought to just come and leave. Keep doing this. Keep focused on the task. Play a game with the task that you're playing, right? Different ways to get into flow state. Okay, so this will change your life. This will change your life. This will get you insights that you haven't gotten before. You're going to start to get some information that you didn't know that you had. You're going to get inspiration that you don't know that you have. I have ideas out here that is going to change the world. Some of you maybe say, why ain't all of them out here? Well, I do understand the thing about stages of your life. And I do understand that there are some ideas that you need to bring out other times and not all at once. But guess what? What brought those ideas? Being in the flow state. What brings some of the thoughts, some of the quotes that you see, some of the words being in the flow state. So some of you like, yo, I'm trying to brainstorm for the next I'm trying to get in the flow state, and you're going to get so many answers. So basically what I teach can be a solution to so many different problems, but people are not. Like if you get angry a lot and you say, I want to work on my anger problem, you don't need to work on your anger problem. You need to work on your peace solution. That means you need to find a peace practice. And I got one for you right here. And not only do I have one for you right here, I look like you. I'm young just like you. And I can relate to you. And I'm not 90 or 70. I don't have white hair, and I'm not Chinese. You see my skin. So go ahead. Try Qigong, that class. What is your peace solution? What is your peace solution? So I'm over here on my phone. And let me see who's about it, who's going to join the class this weekend. So I'm on my email right now. In fact, I'm going to go on Eventbrite, and I'm about to put the class 50% off. I'm about to put the class 50% off for y'all. So it's $15, but this weekend's class is going to be 15% off for the next hour. I'm about to put the class 15% off. I'm going to see who's going to go, who's all about it, who's going to do this. So Qigong is life-changing. Try it out. Get into the flow state. What is the book I wanted to suggest to y'all? It's just Flow. Check out the book Flow. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to turn on the tickets for y'all right now. Go to the website, tryqigong.com, and you're going to be able to get your tickets 50% off. Okay, only for the next hour. Class is tomorrow at 8 a.m. So the class is pretty much going to be $7. Okay? $7. Go ahead and boom. Save 50% off tryqigong.com. So if you go to tryqigong.com to sign up for 50% off. Okay? All right, so that's pretty much all I have for today. I want to thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for watching. I want to thank y'all for supporting and being part of the movement. I know what I said today added value to your life, and if it did, go ahead and share this video to a couple of friends. Let them know about it. Let them know about the class. Send them the link, and I'll see you this weekend as I keep sharing this amazing information. I always say to people, like, you never know what can change your life if you just take the opportunity. You never know, like, yo, you might say, I've been experiencing anxiety and stress every day, constantly at a very deep state for the last 4 months, and I need to find a solution. I don't like it. I don't like it. I need to find a solution. I have one for you. Listen, I have one for you. I have a solution for you. I have a way that works better than therapy. And some of you might say, I don't agree. I have a way that works better than therapy. That's Qigong. And I have to put it out straight up. Now, I have to tell you straight up, this will change your life. Sign up for the class. Tryqigong.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for watching into the podcast. I'm going to keep going with this live video. In fact, I'm not leaving this live video up until later. I'm going to keep talking about why this is important. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please be sure you subscribe to this podcast. Leave a donation by going to edtalksdaily.com/donate, or by sending a cash app to edtalks. It supports the movement, supports what I'm doing right here. It really does. So If y'all want to leave some gratitude, send some bread. I'm tired of being non-transparent. Just send some bread, say thanks. I appreciate you, bro. Like, people charge for this, you give it for free every day. I appreciate you, bro. Send a cash app right now, Ed Talks. And then if you want to just say, I want to actually learn this stuff, I'm serious about my health, try qigong.com. All right. Remember, you have the unlimited power in you to change your life, to evolve your life, to go and search, to find the thing that's going to help you. Nobody's going to bring you anything. You got to go discover it, and you have to take the action steps. Right? You might be looking at the person's post every day that if you did one extra step, they can change your life. Not the person, but the action could change your life, but you're not willing to. So what's stopping it? Right? Okay? So thank you all for watching. Keep sharing your light. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. Thank y'all for watching.